14 years after the release of Final Destination 5, which looked to be the perfect capper to a horror franchise, bringing the events of the films full circle, the producers were finally able to turn the switch of the series from dormant to resurrection mode. They had heard many pitches over the years. What could a Final Destination 6 be? What should a Final Destination 6 be? And in the end, they picked 3 contenders. One of these contenders was, of course, the premise of Bloodlines, which would give us a brand new frantic group of doomed victims to be, only this time all of the victims would be related to each other. Due to this, there would be much less mystery in the death's design category, making the order of death a lot easier to determine. Their order of death would basically just mirror their order of birth, although the writers do their best to throw a bit of spice and mystery into the mix, because this is a Final Destination film after all, and a bit of misdirection never hurt anyone. Bloodlines may not be as fresh a take as that fan-made Final Destination medieval trailer that was circulating a few years back, but they do give us just enough freshness mixed with a plethora of Easter eggs and lore linkage to keep the rabid FD heads happy. This film feels right at home among the others in the series, as it rightly should. The death sequences are suspensefully hilarious and meticulously designed. You can tell that the filmmakers studied the other films, going over each previous death scene with a fine-tooth comb, understanding that these sequences are the bread and butter of this franchise, and the main reason the audience continues to show up. And show up they did, as Final Destination Bloodlines went on to break new records for the franchise, giving us its biggest opening yet. Tony Todd shows up in his final on-screen performance, giving a monologue that the actor basically wrote himself. The filmmakers allowed Mr. Todd to say what he wanted, which resulted in a heartfelt goodbye to his fans. It is a fitting send-off for such a legend of horror. Every time I would see him at a horror convention, he always appeared larger than life, intimidating as all hell, but also extremely down-to-earth, in his element among the many fans who adored him. He is without a doubt one of the greats, and will surely be missed. With all its strengths, Bloodlines is not without a faux pas or two. Granted, over time, the more I think about these errors, the more I have forgiven and excused them using my own abilities of filling in the blanks, so to speak. Like, for instance, we have to talk about that death trap of a compound that Tony Todd's character, William Bloodworth, built for crazy grandmother survivalist Iris Campbell. He supposedly set it up for her to keep her safe from death's clutches. But after seeing Clear River's clever idea in Final Destination 2 of hiding away in a rubber room for the rest of her life, Iris Campbell's death trap of a junkyard that she decides to live in makes her seem like a bit of an ignoramus in comparison. It also makes it seem like Tony Todd's character is trying to kill the poor woman, which doesn't really make sense as she is responsible for saving his life as a boy. Now, how I've come to grips with this curious decision by the screenwriters is by fanficking a scene where Iris and Tony Todd discuss making that front yard of hers a nightmarish death trap on purpose in order to remove any and all temptation that she may have for wanting to leave. They designed that junkyard to be so dangerous that any potential victim on death's hit list would be a shoo-in for departure should they decide to step even a pinky toe out that front door. Although I also have some issues with the way the inside of her conspiracy cabin was decorated. Let's just say a rubber room it most certainly is not. I do enjoy, though, how Iris Campbell and Death have been basically living out this odd couple sitcom existence for the past 50 years or so. He's always lurking in the shadows, ready to strike, and she's all, "Don't think I don't see you there lurking, you bastard. I know what you're doing." And he's all, "Aw, shucks, you got me again, Miss Iris." Plus, I'd love to see what that DoorDash situation looks like out of her compound. Even the mailman situation has got to be a little tricky. Maybe Tony Todd was not only hooking her up with medical care, but also DoorDashing for her as a side gig. You never know. Even with the questionable script decisions, Final Destination's Bloodlines still manages to be a very strong horror film / entry in the series. The cast is chock full of Canadian actors who very much know what they're doing. The death scenes are gruesomely inventive, and the filmmakers' attempts to add something new to a 25-year-old franchise are successful. It wouldn't surprise me if after this film's tremendous box office success, we saw another 5 of these bad boys down the road.